Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the rebirth of Frag Tag Radio. Here with you today is Pradius, of course, and I wanted to do an episode today with my reaction, going over everything that happened at the Tenno Live for Warframe, which was just yesterday. And so here we go. Let's go through it. So first of all was the deluxe skins they showed off. There was one for Nyjah, one for Nidus, one for Titania, one for Vauban, one for Limbo. They were all really dope looking. I think only the Vauban one seemed to be like a 3D model. The rest of them, I think the Nyjah one was too, and then the other three were pretty much concept art. So I imagine a couple of those are still a ways out. The Nidus one actually had a Kubro skin, like I guess that goes along with it, so that was pretty dope. And then they showed off the new frames, which were the first one was the Revenant frame, the Eidolon sentient inspired frame that we saw on a dev stream not too long ago, and then the surprise one was Garuda, which is like a Valkyr's sister, sorta, but like a more elegant version, and she is a gore-themed Warframe, so her claws are like super long and super huge, and she's made for like slicing people up into bits and blood and meat shields and all that type of stuff. She was really dope looking. I was super impressed by how she was looking. I actually think she looks a lot better than the Revenant Warframe, which I mean he looks pretty cool, but I think this gore themed frame is just a lot more my style. And then so after that they got into the big reveal, which was the new open world on Venus, Fortuna. And so first of all, they brought it in with an intro kind of cutscene with a song called "We All Live Together." And that song was amazing. So matter of fact, I'm gonna just let that play right now, and then we'll get into it.
Cold, the air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming, feel the weight of what we owe. This, the song of sons and daughters, hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build a future, strong, united, working till we fall. The air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming, feel the weight of what we owe. This, the song of sons and daughters, hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build a future, strong, united, working till we fall. And we all lift, and we're all adrift together, through the cold mist, till we're lifeless together.
Okay, so start off in the like underground city, which is the new like sort of Cetus city village hub area that you go to do different things. So in Cetus you had Hawk to build the melee Zaw weapons, and in this one you have a new NPC character that you go to build secondary weapons, guns. I think from what I saw it was only secondary guns, so I didn't see anything about primary guns there. That doesn't mean that there won't be primary gun crafting, or they could be saving that for the next open world, next year, do fucking melee weapons last year for Cetus, and then secondaries this year for Fortuna, and then primary weapons next year for whatever comes next. Or they could add it in here into this open world later on. But for right now, all I saw was the secondary gun crafting, and those are called KITGUNs. So that is what it is. But that's not the only thing you can craft. They also, we saw the MOA companions / pets on recent dev streams, and but we didn't know that you were going to be able to craft those. So there's an NPC that you can go to here to craft your own MOA companion based off of different parts and things, and I guess how you'll mod them out will depend on which parts you use to build it, how you build your MOA. And so I thought that was pretty dope. Interested to see how many different variations you can build for mastery XP in there. Same thing with the secondary gun crafting. I imagine when this comes out, there will be a decent amount, if not a lot, of mastery XP to go along with it. So that was pretty good to know. All right, so and then there, let's see, what the other NPC down there was the business. You go to him to get your lures and your tranquilizers. So instead of fishing like it was in the Plains of Eidolon, here on Fortuna, it's hunting. So you'll get a horn type of weapon that you use to replicate the mating calls of certain animals to attract them to you. And then once they get in the area, you kind of sneak up and then hit them with your tranquilizer gun, and then you've captured them. So instead of fishing, this time it'll be hunting. And so I thought that was pretty dope. And then the last NPC I think we saw was Udico, spelled Eudico, which is pretty much like the new Kanzu, where you go to get your bounties, the main NPC of the whole town, from what I could gather. So once you're out in the world, it had a real Mass Effect vibe to it. Lots of whites and blues, kind of alien looking grass. Instead of trees, there were giant mushrooms where you would imagine trees to be. A lot more roads on this one than there were on the Plains. The Plains was just kind of open and go, but there wasn't any real roads, leading around it. So there's a lot of roads here, and you can definitely tell that this new open world is a lot bigger than the previous one. But the reason for the roads being that we now have hoverboards that you can summon to get around on, and from how they looked, how they seemed to control and drive, they reminded me a lot of the Sparrows from Destiny. So I'm sure they, got a little bit of inspiration from those. I thought that was pretty obvious, but nevertheless, it looked super freaking awesome. And you can do twists and turns and tricks on them when you go up different jumps. So I thought that was cool. I think the only trick we really saw was the one where you spin around. Hopefully they do one where you can do a flip and add in more tricks over time, or by the time that this launches for everybody. I think that would be really cool. Maybe if they even had some kind of mini game, with racing, and then you get extra points for doing certain tricks at certain times. That could be something they could add in the future, but that's not something they showed off, so that's not going to be actually part of it. I just think that would be something cool to do. Let's see, what else? So, of course, you get the bounties from Udico, but then once you're out in the world and you complete a bounty, you can just go to the next NPC that's close by and get your next bounty from them, and you don't have to go all the way back to the little underground village to get your next bounty. You can just keep doing bounties while you're out in the world without the need to go back to the village hub area, which I thought was a really nice touch, because that can be very tiring, especially with the loading screens going back and forth between the village and the open world, open world. So I thought that was really, really cool. Overall, I was definitely super impressed. It looked a lot better and blew me away a lot more than I thought it would. I mean, I knew it was going to be good. I knew, because I've been playing Warframe for over 4 years now and love it. So I knew I was going to like it, or even, be impressed by it, but I didn't know that it was going to blow me away like it did. It was absolutely amazing. And then so what came next was the new, I guess it's a game mode called Railjack, where you get together with your group of friends, other Tenno, I guess 4 total, and then you get on this giant ship and then launch it off into space, where one of you is piloting the ship. One or two of you is manning different turrets on the ship. One, I guess, can play like the engineer, putting out fires and repairing things, damage around the ship. And then, you're taking out little smaller enemies that are flying around out there, of course. But then there's like a giant ship, and I'm sure there'll be more than just one in the finished product. And then you have to take down this giant, like, Battlestar capital ship, to do that. So you go over there and you start firing at it with your turrets and stuff from your ship, of course, but you also, I guess, send 1 or 2 of the people from your ship over onto the enemy ship, and they infiltrate it and then kind of like do a bunch of damage to it, blow it up from the inside, and then come back, and then you deliver the final, kill blow from your ship. And then it was just crazy. That had a real kind of Star Trek vibe to it, with the space battles and just how everything looked and felt and sounded. And of course, me being a huge Star Trek fan, I was super impressed by that. My one question about this game mode is, what is the real point of it going to be? Obviously it looks like it's super fun, but after you've played something so many times, what's the driving force to keep you going back and playing it? So I'm interested to see what kind of rewards you get from this mode. Like, are you going to get upgrades to your ship, as you play the mode more and more and more, be able to make your ship, that you fly with your friends more powerful? Or are you going to be getting mods that kind of help you infiltrate the enemy ship better, that you can equip on your Warframe for when you're over there on foot inside the enemy ship? Or will it just be like regular mods, that you can use anywhere in any mission, be helpful everywhere? Or maybe a mixture? Just interested to see how the reward system is going to work with that, to keep players coming back. But as it stands, it was super awesome looking. Looks like it's going to be a very, very, very fun mode. Between the two, I'm not even sure which I liked better, the whole Fortuna open world or the new Railjack thing with flying the spaceship with your friends. Both of them were super awesome. I almost feel like Railjack was a little bit more impressive to me because it was a surprise. Like, we knew we were going to be seeing the open world on Venus, but the whole Railjack thing was an absolute, surprise. No one had any idea that was coming. So that being said, I think I was more blown away by that, but I think both of them were equally freaking awesome, and I was impressed by both of them. So overall, I think this was definitely the best TennoCon so far, and it's amazing to me that they were able to one-up themselves from last year, because unveiling the planes at the last TennoCon, I thought I was super impressed by that, and I was wondering how they were going to one-up themselves this year, and I was like, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that just by unveiling another open world in a different area. But adding on the Railjack spaceship battles with friends, I think they definitely succeeded in one-upping themselves from last year. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give them a solid 9.5, if not a perfect 10, for the Tenno live stream this year. It was absolutely amazing, and I really just can't wait to get my hands on this stuff and to play it for myself in the flesh, and definitely looking forward to Tenno Live, TennoCon next year. With that, I think it's been a pretty good episode. I will hopefully be back to making videos back to back now that I've got my new studio set up, and I'm, everything is set up, ready to go. I had a problem with my old studio that was up in a loft above my garage, and then I had to move it, and it took forever to renovate and move everything, and the painting and the building and setting up and all that. But I've got everything 100% ready to go now, so definitely should be a lot more new videos coming in the future. And I should be catching y'all again soon. Peace.